I want you to imagine an investor asking a room full of founders who the top names are in your space. You're not in the room, but your name keeps coming up. Not because you went viral, not because you have millions of followers, but because the right founders have been observing your thought leadership content for months. And now when your name comes up in private conversations, you're the reference point. That's a different kind of fame. The kind of fame where people keep inviting you to speak. They're asking you for partnerships, and where your name comes up at any time someone needs a referral in your space. I've helped hundreds of founders from $10 million to $200 million businesses engineer this exact kind of influence. So here's why most accomplished founders stay invisible online and how to fix it, and the specific type of content that gets you talked about in rooms when you're not even in them. There are two types of fame, and they lead to completely different outcomes. Public fame means you attract an audience that has zero buying power, no relevance to your business, no reason to ever work with you. You spend all this time on content and all you get back is tire kickers because you're just entertaining them with free advice. That's a distraction, not influence. Then there's room-specific fame, which means 8 and 9-figure founders are messaging you because they've read your writing and respect how you think. Investors follow you because they trust your perspective on the market, and the conversations around your name are about your expertise and your track record. The first type of fame gets you an audience that watches you. The second gets you people who want to do business with you. Now, most founders at this level think staying quiet will protect their reputation. They never respond, never engage, and just let people admire them from a distance. But that doesn't work in 2026. If another founder or an investor wants to work with you, they need to see how you actually think. And I'm not talking about some polished press release or corporate statements. They need to see your actual perspective and personality on things. I have a client who runs a $200 million portfolio. When he came to us, nobody in his space was paying attention to him on the written platforms. The moment he started actually engaging and sharing his thinking, other founders at his level started reaching out to him. People started recognizing him as this authority. They respond, have conversations, and they don't hide behind this logo on the screen. That openness is why other founders are starting to treat them as the go-to voice in their industry. It's why they're getting invited into rooms they have never had access before. And people trust what they say before they've even met them. So why aren't more founders doing this? It's not because they don't want to. It's because they're making the same 3 mistakes and they don't even know it. I know this because I've worked with founders running hundreds of millions of dollar businesses to 7-figure businesses. They've already done the hard part. They've built the successful business, but online, their name means nothing. So let me walk you through all 3 of these mistakes, and more importantly, how to actually fix each one. Mistake number 1, prioritizing efficiency over effectiveness. You use AI to write your content, or you hire someone cheap and say, just get some posts out. The team ends up pumping out AI generated content and nothing happens. Most founders have no idea why it's not working, but the answer is so obvious, it's almost embarrassing. Everyone has access to the same AI tools as you. So if your content strategy is to let AI write and post, and you're doing the most generic thing that every other person on the platform is doing, you're not gonna succeed. Now, I'm not saying don't use AI at all. We use AI in every single workflow we have at our agency, but not just for the writing. We use it for finding trending conversation, looking at what's working across the platforms, breaking down hooks and formats and content styles. We take that data and come up with content ideas from it. Then the actual writing is done by people who understand your voice and know how to position you into an authority. You gotta use AI for research and ideation, but the words that go out under your name need to sound like you, not like everybody else in the space. Every single post should have one purpose. You're choosing topics with intent, you're using formats that are working right now, and every post you make is shaping how your industry sees you. Remember, there are 3 mistakes, and the frustrating part is that the second one usually hits the founders who are actually paying attention to their data, the ones who think they've already figured it out. So mistake 2 is finding one style and using it forever. For example, look at Ryan Dice. He runs a $200 million a year business portfolio. When he came to us, his X account was dead, maybe 300 to 400 views per post, and this is a guy who's been a major name in marketing for over a decade. The problem was simple. He'd been posting the same type of content for too long. His audience saw it coming before he even posted it. They'd scroll right past because there was nothing new for them to see. Every post has a shelf life of a content style. People see it, it works for a while, and then they start to predict what's coming. It's not that the content is bad, it's that it's no longer surprising. And when the format stops being interesting, the message stops working. Think about how many founders make a post like, I made $5 million last year and it's my 27th birthday, so here are 27 lessons. But the first person who did that, it probably worked. Now every other individual in the space is doing it, and it doesn't stop anybody from scrolling. That's style fatigue. For Ryan, we started with story-based content and quoting relevant people in the space. And his first 3 weeks, we hit hundreds of thousands of impressions. And within his first 54 days, over 1.5 million. But those numbers didn't come from finding one thing that worked and just repeating it forever. We were watching the data every single week. When a style stopped working, we cut it. When a new format started gaining some traction, we tested it immediately on his account. Most teams don't do this. You need somebody reviewing your data every single week, looking at what's performing, what's dying, and what new formats are working on the platforms right now. Then adjust. Most teams find one content style that works, and they just keep milking it until the engagement dies. By the time they notice, they've already lost months of momentum. This space moves incredibly fast. If your team isn't adjusting week to week, someone in your space is. But even if you fix that, there's still one mistake that'll undo it all. And this is the one that kills the most accounts because it's technically the easiest to fix. Mistake 3 is you stop treating the platform like a social platform. A $15 million agency owner joined our program recently. He has 50,000 followers, his engagement was pretty dead, and he asked me, why is my account not getting the engagement I used to get? I looked at his account and I told him straight up, you're not engaging, you're not in the right conversations, you're not talking to any of the big people in your space at all anymore. His answer was, I stopped treating it like a social platform because I thought I had the followers. And that's the problem. It doesn't matter how accomplished you are or how much money you have or how many followers you have. If you stop showing up in the right conversations that actually matter, people will forget about you. Doesn't matter if you're producing the greatest technical value out there. Someone like Ryan understood this from day one when he started working with us. This guy runs a $200 million portfolio and he's in the comments every single day himself. He's talking to people on the timelines and answering questions, giving feedback and joking around. When we see a good question from someone in his space, we get his take on it and turn it into a quote post. When there's a conversation that's trending, he gives his opinion on those industry conversations. He's commentating on it. He treats X and LinkedIn for what it is, a social platform, and the algorithms reward him. Every platform wants to keep you scrolling longer and longer. When you engage, when you reply, and when you quote, you're doing exactly what the platform wants. So it pushes your content further. And the best part is you don't need to set aside hours for it. Do it when you're waiting for a meeting. Do it when you got 5 minutes between calls. Reply to people. Jump into key conversations. You're already on your phone. Use that time to engage instead of just scrolling. The founders who get this become unavoidable. So now you fixed 3 mistakes. Your content is consistent and you're adapting week to week and you're showing up in the right conversation. But here's what separates founders who are just active online from the ones whose content is getting shared in private group chats. Before you post anything, you want to ask yourself a question. Would your perfect prospect share this with their internal teams? If yes, that piece of content is going to spread way beyond your timeline. If no, it's gonna die in the feed and it's a waste of time to create. The type of content that passes that test is what I call unique alpha. It's an insight that could only come from you, from your data, and your clients. All of this experience that you have gives someone this edge that nobody else can have out there, and you could share that value with individuals. The same concept applies if you're targeting other founders and operators. You're talking to some of the most sophisticated buyers in the world. They run companies, manage teams. They've seen every generic framework and every list of tips hundreds of times. All of these, here are 5 ways to scale your agency. Every founder has seen that post 100 times. It means nothing. Nobody's sharing that in group chats anymore. No one is pulling that up in a meeting. Now, here's what unique alpha actually looks like. I just tested 3 retention strategies across 25 clients in the fashion niche. Here's what's actually working for me right now. Or I have access to data from thousands of digital creators, and this is the trend I'm seeing and what products are selling in the age of AI in 2026. The first one is something anyone could write. The second one is something only you can write. That's the gap. And that gap is why some founders get shared in private rooms while others get scrolled past. These need to be insights only you have access to, data that only you can share, perspectives and opinions that come from you actually doing the work, not reading somebody else's post and just rewriting it. The content that makes it into private rooms is current, specific, and could only come from you. But unique alpha only works if people feel like they actually know you. You can be strategic without being corporate. The founders who do this best show how they think, not just what they've accomplished. They're very intentional about every single post, but there's enough personality that makes people feel like they know them on this personal level. That balance is what makes someone unavoidable in the space. Right now, there are conversations happening about your industry that you're not a part of because nobody knows that you exist. And founders who've been building their authority for 6 months are already getting invited into these rooms over all the other people in their industry. For years and years, it's been like this because people trust them on a human level. 3 years from now, a personal brand is not going to be optional. It's going to be a requirement for those types of deals, partnerships, and conversations. You want to be a part of these. You can start now and build your authority until your name is the first one people bring up. Or you can wait 3 years, start from zero, and wish you started today. Everything I covered works. If you want my team to build this all for you, we work with founders doing 7 to 9 figures a year. We handle everything. Strategy, content, weekly optimizations, all of the data management. All you have to do is just click the link in the description, book a call with us. I made a whole video breaking down the specific content styles and strategies that are actually working right now. And that video should be showing up right now too. Subscribe and I'll see you guys all in the next video.